Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a book that really shook things up, Ian Kerner's She Comes First. Now, this isn't just another guide, it's a whole new way of thinking about intimacy, one that puts female pleasure right at the heart of everything. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So the book kicks off by asking a really important question. Think about it. Why has our culture's script for sex been so, male-focused? It's often been this straight line to one specific goal, the male orgasm as the grand finale. And because of that, female pleasure has often been treated like an afterthought, not the main event.
In this quote from Sally Tisdale, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up what people call the orgasm gap. It's that feeling that you're both on completely different clocks, which really points to a huge disconnect in how we've traditionally approached sex. This brings us to the book's core philosophy, which is simple, but honestly, kind of radical. It's this: when she comes first, everybody wins. This isn't about being selfless or one person just accommodating the other. No way. The idea is that focusing on her satisfaction actually creates a more intense, more connected, and just plain better experience for both people. It elevates the whole thing.
All right, so let's dig into this revolutionary idea. We're going to see why this one little shift in focus is such a massive game changer. Okay, but before we jump into the how-to, we've got to understand the what. And that means we need to correct some seriously common mistakes about female anatomy. It's basically time to throw out the old map and draw a new one. And step one is getting the language right, because it really matters. Kerner makes a great point. We tend to use the word vagina for everything down there, but that's not accurate. The correct term for the whole external area is the vulva. And get this, vagina literally means sheath in Latin. That right there tells you how it's always been framed around penetration, not pleasure. And like Kerner says, knowing a little geography goes a long way. It's a perfect way to put it. I mean, you wouldn't explore a new city without a map, would you? So why would you approach this any differently? Getting this basic anatomy down is absolutely the first step to being a better, more tuned-in partner.
So with that new map in hand, the book totally reframes where our focus should be. It shifts the spotlight away from the vagina and puts it right where it belongs, on the clitoris. I mean, think about it. It's the only organ in the human body that exists for one reason, and one reason only: pleasure.
And here's a number that might surprise you. 18. That's how many different parts make up the entire clitoral system. It's so much more than what you see on the surface. We're talking about a huge internal network. And understanding that hidden, complex structure, that's the real key to everything.
All right, so now that we've got our new map, we can get into the practical stuff. And the book presents this not as some kind of mechanical checklist, but as an art form, the art of going down.
And if you're thinking, okay, where do I even start? Kerner lays out some really clear, simple steps. This is not about being a contortionist or anything crazy. It's about a solid foundational routine. You start with what he calls the first kiss, just a long, gentle stroke, and then you build from there, establishing a rhythm that builds sensation. Now, to help make all of this feel more natural, the book uses these awesome analogies. The first one is the jazz trio. Think about it. The tongue, fingers, and hands aren't just doing their own thing. They're a band, and they've got to work together, in harmony, to make beautiful music. Here's another great one, and this one is borrowed from the boxing ring, from Muhammad Ali himself. It's called the rope-a-dope. This is all about pacing. You let her wear herself out, build that intensity, maybe you pull back for a second, and then, bam, you re-engage with all that energy right when it counts. And finally, there's this fantastic image, a cat cleaning itself. A cat doesn't try to clean its whole body at once, right? It focuses on one little patch of fur, over and over. That's the idea here. It's about patient, focused attention on one spot at a time, instead of rushing all over the place. And that kind of focus, it's unbelievably powerful.
Okay, but it's really important to get this. Kerner makes it super clear that technique is not the whole story, not even close. Because great sex, it's about so much more than just the physical stuff. We're talking about mindset, communication, and a real, genuine connection.
And this right here, this is why that connection is so critical. Look at this statistic. It's pretty shocking. Over half of women have faked an orgasm, more than 50%. And why? Well, a lot of the time it's because they feel pressured or they just want an encounter that isn't working for them to be over. This just screams how absolutely essential real communication and paying attention are. They're not optional. The book also gets into something called the snuggle gap, which is fascinating. It's basically a biological thing.
After an orgasm, men's bodies are often flooded with chemicals that make them sleepy, but for women, it can be the opposite. Their bodies are primed for more cuddling and connection. Just knowing that this is a biological response, not a personal rejection, wow, that can prevent so much hurt and misunderstanding. And here's an idea from the book that really goes against the grain of our culture today. You know how we're all obsessed with what's new and different? Well, Kerner argues that in a committed relationship, the real deep satisfaction doesn't come from novelty. It comes from repetition and familiarity. It's about becoming an expert in your partner, really learning what works, instead of just trying to find a new trick. And he uses this amazing quote from the philosopher Kierkegaard to back this up. Repetition is a beloved wife of whom one never tires. It just perfectly captures this idea that there's a real beauty and deep, deep comfort in that loving repetition, the kind that builds a connection so strong it's practically intuitive. So in the end, the book leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. Could the key to a better sex life not be novelty, but mastery? What if we stopped chasing the next new thing and instead focused on the art of becoming masters of mutual pleasure? What if that's where the real magic is?